This is a massive topic, and it's a very passionate discussion for some people. So if I'm going to be making this video, I'm going to do it the right way and be absolutely definitive. Deftones was formed in 1988 while the members were still in high school. Their upbringing and grind was very much the same as their peers and brother bands. They grinded around Southern California for most of the early 90s. And when their demo was passed around to the right people, they landed a record deal with Maverick, also known as Madonna's record label. And they released their debut album, Adrenaline. Throughout the years, and with some lineup changes. With each album, the band improved and experimented with dynamics, soundscapes, tunings, added instruments. The band would soar throughout the years and become widely known for their professionalism and thought put into their work, each album having a different vibe and sound. In 1995, they released Adrenaline. In 1997, there was Around the Fur. And in 2000, they released their breakout album, White Pony. In 2003, they released their self-titled effort, Deftones. In 2006, they released Saturday Night Wrist, an eclectic collection of music. In 2010, they released Diamond Eyes. In 2012, there was Koi no Yokan. 2016, there was Gore. Guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel. So today we're talking about Deftones. And we're going to go through their discography, talk about each record, and then at the end, I'm going to give my own personal ranking. So, here we go. First off, you have they made a demo album in the early '90s called Like Linus, I believe. And it got passed around and stuff, and landed them a deal with Maverick Records. And in 1995, they released their debut, Adrenaline, produced by Pantera producer Terry Date. The album, that album has really a new metal sound to it, and it's very aggressive. One of the few criticisms that I have with the album, and that a bunch of other people have, a bunch of other fans, is the guitar tone on the album is garbage. It's pretty bad. It sounds like a fucking 25-watt amp cranked. That's what it sounds like to me. But overall, it's a decent record. It's a strong debut. Now in 1997, they released an album called Around the Fur. A huge step up from Adrenaline, in my opinion. The songwriting was better. The vocals were better. The guitar playing was amazingly better. And then the drums. Don't even get me started on Abe Cunningham's drums. Awesome drummer, man. He does shit with one pedal that most drummers can't do with two. I mean, let's be honest. And some of the standout songs on that album for me are Around the Fur, Be Quiet and Drive, Head Up. Just bangers. The album is full of bangers. Now, in 2000, they released White Pony. This is one of my favorite albums of all time. Front to back. The original pressing. The one that doesn't have Back to School on it. Amazing all the way through. I loved it so much. I even got the outline tattooed on me. This album was a big thing for me. I learned how to scream by listening to this album and Waking the Fallen by Vince Sevenfold. The song Elite, I think, was the first time I ever screamed in a song. Now, after White Pony, tensions started growing in the band. Members started having personal problems. They were getting burnt out from being on the road. And they released follow-up to White Pony, simply entitled Deftones. Now, this album is weird for me. I have a love-hate relationship with this record. Every time I go back to it, I love listening to it. I usually make it through the first half of the album, and then the second half kind of drags for me. It just doesn't. It doesn't hit like the other albums do. I think you can definitely hear the tension, and one of the things that stands out the most to me on this album, definitely the guitar playing. This is when Stephen Carpenter started using extended range guitars. He started tuning down, used 7 strings, 8 strings, and the guitars are really, really weird. Yeah, you could tell that he was trying some new shit, and I like that. Now, after that, it's when things really get interesting. You got Saturday Night Wrist, one of my favorite Deftones albums. I remember when I was a kid, one of my stepfathers picked this album up, and so I remember when it came out. I wasn't a big metal fan at that time because I was young. I liked Simple Plan and pop punk, stuff like that. But Saturday Night Wrist is a very controversial album in Deftones' discography. It's really kind of frowned upon by most older fans because it really showed off their experimental side. There's a couple songs on there that fans don't even acknowledge the existence of, such as Pink Cell Phone and the instrumental. I don't even know how to say it. Up, up, down, down, left, right, A, B, select, start. So yeah, there are a couple stinkers on the album, but the good songs are what make this album for me. Like, you can tolerate the bad songs, except for the last minute of Pink Cell Phone. I skip that entirely because it's just cringy and it's bad, kind of like me. But so after Saturday Night Wrist came out, they were working on the follow up to it called Eris or Iris. I don't know how to say it, but everybody was looking forward to it. It was hyped up, and then their bass player Chi, he got into a car accident, and he later passed away from those injuries in 2013. He was in a comatose state for, I think, 3 or 4 years. So that's terrible. Like, that's sad. So in 2010, after taking some time and recruiting Sergio Vega from Quicksand to help out on bass duties while she was in the hospital, they released Diamond Eyes. This is another great record by them. It's one of their more accessible records. Like, it's got some radio songs on it. You've seen The Butcher, I've heard on the radio. Diamond Eyes, obviously. The title track. Rocket Skates is a fan favorite, one of my favorites too. Uh, but for me, the album really shines in its deep cuts. Beauty School is one of my favorites. Sex Tape is hailed as one of their greatest songs. Then 976 Evil. Great. And This Place is Death. Like, this whole album is just fantastic. Uh, I'd say my favorite song off of it's Sex Tape, for sure. So yeah, that's Diamond Eyes. Then after Diamond Eyes, comes Koi no Yokan. Uh, Man, this album is amazing. Uh, it's so beautiful. Like every song, it's got that shoegazy psychedelic sound from the Deftones that I really love, and it takes the heavier elements of like the extended range guitars mixed with Chino's psychedelic guitars mixed with Abe's fucking hard hitting drums. It's just, and then Frank Delgado's sample work and turntable work on this album is phenomenal. Just the ambiance that he creates. It's just everything works to the best possible degree on this album. We're going to talk more about that though here in a little bit. Now, we got Gore, 2016. Not a big fan of this album. There's some good songs. I mean, it's a good record, but it just doesn't hit for me. You know what I mean? It's very similar to the self-titled album and feel for me. I like maybe a quarter of the songs, and the other 75% of the songs for me are just, they don't do it for me. And then in 2020 we got Ohms. I don't have that on physical yet, but Ohms was very hyped up when it came out. For me, it's a very middle tier record. Maybe towards the lower end of it. It's good, but it doesn't stand up to their best work. So yeah, now I think it's time for me to say my top 5 Deftones songs. This is gonna be hard because it changes like every day. Currently, my top 5 Deftones songs would have to be 5 would be Rosemary, 4 would be Be Quiet and Drive, 3 would have to be Beware the Water, 2 Cherry Waves, number 1 Entombed. I'm happy with that list. I wish I could put something from White Pony in there, but I love that album all the way through, so they're all on the same tier for me. Now, it's time to talk about my ranking of the Deftones albums. And in last place, this is probably obvious. In last place, we got Gore. It's number 9. Boring. Couple good songs on there. I don't care for the production. It just doesn't do it for me. And number 8, we got the self-titled record. This is where it gets hard. I like the album, but it doesn't. I think it might be the sequencing. I don't know. It just gets boring to me. And number 7, we got Adrenaline. Good album. Yeah, it's good, but I like their some more of their stuff better. And at number 6 we got Owns. I already said how I feel about that one. Then at number 5 we got Around the Fur. This is where it gets really fucking hard. I love the album. I love it. Number 4 we got Diamond Eyes. Number 3 we got Saturday Night Wrist. Number 2 is White Pony. Okay, I'm fine with that. I was kind of hoping that was what I got. And number 1 is Queen of Yokan. Alright, guys. See y'all in the next video.